Okay, I think should be live. I'm just gonna turn that off just in case. Okay. Okay, so I discovered something interesting. Last one time I did was referred to as a dark meditation, and I didn't realize it at the time, but there was something that's known as, I'm gonna look this up. Let's see. Uh, yeah, Stoic negative visual. Yeah, this stuff. So, Stoic negative visualizations. I can't speak, but apparently it's method of practice or worst case scenario method. Let me use this negative visualization. Technique was popular with publications of Silencius moral letters out there was common forms of Stoic spiritual practices in the 21st century, inspired by English transitions. I am an illiterate retard, so it's hard for me to read this because I'm just stupid. Stoics coined the expression negative visualization and gave it the dog Latin expression premeditatium, often without providing citations before the expressions. According to accounts, negative visualization was adopted and similar psychological to support some support, although mostly has been adopted by pop psychologists and sphere. Okay, so blah blah blah. Let's see. Okay, so the purpose is that the severeness of negative visualizations range from mild as thinking of the loss of a minor inconvenience, having to abandon a minor pleasure, to severe as total immersion in an imagined scenario in which the worst fears of the practitioner have occurred, loss of status, life. So basically, you're imagining yourself in the worst situation. And it's kind of like the purpose of meditation. A lot of people, I've probably talked about this, but a lot of people probably really don't know it, is that your goal is to look at things non-biasedly. Okay, you're looking at things without having a pre-discerned judgment. There is and it's not this delusion of, oh, there's no good or evil. It's that you look at things. If you look at something, if you look at your past, the point of meditation is you bring up memories and you look at them without emotional attachment, without a positive or negative, without believing them to be one way or the other. And when you do this, you are able to look at things in a more clear context, as in what is this, what it is, and what it's not. You're not. You're looking at something and saying. You're not really looking at it as a good or bad thing. You're just looking at it as it's a thing. And it's up to you to decide. Not necessarily how to. It doesn't mean you don't know good from evil. It means you look at something and you're able to say that this thing, it doesn't affect you. It doesn't pull you in. It doesn't suck you in. It doesn't, you don't overreact. You're not worried about it. And I know that a lot of people, especially more right-hand path people, will always sit there and try to think of something uber positive and did kind of sit there and, yeah, it's like this is the Silencius moral letters to Lucius Jr. to meditate on death. It was reported with students. So basically, it's, yeah, you're envisioning loss or pain. But just like you're doing before, you're not allowing yourself to be attached to it. I think the last one I did was pretty intense, where it was a feeling that you were trapped in a pit, you couldn't get out, but you had to find a way out. And I think that it's the point is, if you do this, you're training your mind to say there's always a way out. There's always a thing I can way. It's my situation is not hopeless. And that's one thing that I kind of have an issue with when it comes to people who are like think positively and positive visualizations and shit like that. And I may have talked about this before, but there was a book that it was called, let's see, I think it was Inner Game to Tennis, I think it was. And I have this book. Tim Galloway, I think his name is. Yeah, Timothy Galloway. This is an amazing book. I actually let somebody borrow this that I didn't get out of here, that I didn't want, that I really should have. I mean, I don't think the guy actually did shit with it, but it's a really good book. And it basically talks about how the guy teaches people how to play tennis, or teaches the mental state of playing tennis. And there was a course where he was trying to teach the girls to be in the moment, right? And there was one lady who's like, "Oh, what if I think positively?" And he says, "Positive thinking is not as bad as thinking negatively." And he didn't realize what he had said when he said it, but what it means is, for there to be a positive, for you to think positively, there has to be a contrast, there has to be a negative. So it's not as bad, but as long as if you're playing tennis, for example, and you're always thinking about, like, what if I miss, what if I trip, what if I do, and you're always thinking about a negative situation, you're always thinking about the what if, you're most likely going to fail. You're most likely going to think, because that's the thing you're focusing on. But at the same time, there was when you go, okay, well, if you constantly think positively, it's better. However, it's also there has to be a contrast. So if you think positively and you don't get the result you want, that's kind of like a negative feedback. And a statement that I kind of say is, there is no failure, there is only feedback. So, with that, blah, blah, blah. So that's just the idea that this is fortunately, I'll be able to twist this around. Instead of calling it like negative meditation or dark meditations, I'll be able to call it the negative visualization, the Stoic negative visualizations. And yeah. Okay, so also, a little side note, and partial announcement. I sound like an idiot when I say that shit, but I am actually going to be working on something. What do we got? I'm actually going to be working on, this is a bit of a prelude to some possible manuscripts I will be working on. So yeah, I'm gonna be working on a manuscript, and I could really use some help. This is a more geared towards right-handed path. That doesn't mean it's not right-handed path only, but it's just more geared towards that. I know that on the forum there's more left-handed path stuff, and I think that this is actually something I want to write about, and more along the lines of really kind of understanding what it is, why are some people spurn from that. I think to really kind of, it really needs to be looked at and discussed about what is the difference between the two, and how is one helpful and how is one not helpful? But it was this thing, folks had a group before. We had to start banning promotion of them. Form could post should have posted sooner. To be honest with you, I'm not really sure what that means. I don't know if it means I don't know. I don't think I broke a rule. I don't think she's had a group before. I guess she's saying she's not gonna. I guess I'm not getting in trouble because I have done this before. I don't know, but in any case, what I'm going to be writing about does involve a lot of Stoic meditation, Stoic practices, and their mental, physical, and spiritual as well, and as well as I'm investigating some Mithraic mysteries. So, for those of you who may know or don't know, Mithras was kind of like he was kind of like the personification of Jesus before Jesus, and I actually kind of want to do a little more study about Mithras and a lot of his work. I found, I think, a good little meditation, but what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using the stuff I have intended, which is the negative visualization. So, all right. So let's go ahead and get that. If this will be up, so if you can't watch it now, you can watch it later. So, all right. So you just want to get a moment to kind of like focus on your breathing, kind of relax. Probably just breathe in for about maybe 4 seconds. It doesn't have to. I like to focus on my heartbeat when I breathe in. I use it as a little counter. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8, 9, 10. Okay. In this, I want you to imagine yourself. You're inside what seems to be a coliseum, let's say. Alright? And it's very dimly lit. There are dimly lit torches. Just high enough to where you can see enough ground and what's actually inside with you. And you're in rags. You don't have any shoes on. You probably haven't bathed in like, I don't know, a week or two. You haven't eaten probably in a week. You're thirsty. You can feel the dry. You can feel the dry in your throat. And what I want you to do when you imagine this, I want you to feel the sensations of focus on a negative feeling. And have that negative feeling begin to ooze and pulse out from your skin like little blisters that kind of just out from each pore. It just kind of slightly begins to ooze and sweat out, and it begins to just slip down your body, out through your forehead, through your face, your arms, your legs, your back, and it just oozes down. And really feel this oily, greasy, grimy, it's cold, it feels like slime, and it's just dripping down, and it just hits the ground beneath you. And take this specific thing, and it begins to amass on the ground, and it drifts and oozes its way about maybe around 10 feet away, and it begins to take shape and emerge from the ground and form. You watch it. It could be anything. It could be stress. It could be a fear. It could be something something that happened, something that you're afraid will happen, something that is happening, or has just happened, and let it take form and take shape. And watch it grow. It seems to just drain. It drains out through all of you. Let it completely just pull its way out completely from your entire body. And as it begins to take a shape and form, it begins to grow and grow. It becomes a reflection of yourself. And all the time and the strength that you feel it has over you, let it absorb that strength. Let it all the power you've given it, relinquish that power to it. Relinquish that focus, that those feelings, those frustrations, and let it just soak into this thing. And give yourself a moment to feel that sensation. Now, when you look at each other, give this thing, let it take whatever form it usually would. Maybe it's a negative reflection of you. Maybe it's you maybe it's you, but stronger and taller. It's all the power you've given it over the time, all the worry, all the stress, the anxiety, and it's taken all of that from you. It's taken all your all the mental fatigue you felt, all the physical and the emotional pain just goes into this thing. And now it's just you and it inside this arena, this coliseum. And now it picks up from the ground. It forms from the sustenance, from the power that you've relinquished to it. It takes that and forms into a completely sinister weapon. And this thing can take any form you think it should take. Whatever the pain and the suffering that you feel is adequate, let it take that form. And now, this is your decision. You can, once it has formed its weapon, you realize now that the both of you will have to fight. Now you can get your own weapon, or you can have no weapon. But whatever you pick, consider it to be the most worthless thing. Like it's a rusty knife, a broken sword, a stick. It's a dented a dull dented axe, whatever. It's completely shattered, and that's all you have. And now, with your weapon or without your weapon, I want you to imagine. I want you to feel with all your feeling. I want you to imagine and feel that the two of you are going to be engaged in the most bloodiest, severest form of one-on-one combat, and that your very survival depends upon this thing's destruction, and you know it will destroy you. You know it wants to destroy you. And now, take a moment to refocus yourself on your breathing. As you wait, feel the feeling that you know your death is about to come. That you know the darkness is going to descend upon you. You know that this match is completely outside of your favor, and you will definitely not. You will most likely know that you might not survive, but you are going to defend yourself, and you're going to make sure that when you do fight, you're going to fight until you are dead. Now, from here, allow yourself, as you breathe in and breathe out, allow yourself to get pulled in with each breath. One. Deeper into the feeling, into the arena. The arena is real. 2. Your enemy is real. 3. The weapons he wields are real. 4. 5. The weapons you wield are real. Feel the fragile weapon in your hand. Feel the sand beneath your feet, the tightness in your muscles, the weariness, and see your enemies clearly. The feeling is most important. And now, you must fight him. There's no way to fight him. But there's no way that I'm going to guide you into fighting him. You have to discover these techniques, these forms of combat. You have to think about how are you going to defend yourself, and you have to think about how you're going to fight. And remember, all you have is your weapon. You have nothing else. There is no escape. There is no intervention. There is no magic MacGuffin, device magical device that will come save you. This is all you. You and the weapon you wield, if you have a weapon at all. And I want you to imagine this fight openly and honestly. Imagine, does your opponent strike you? Your opponent is fiercely aggressive. What does it feel like when it brings its weapon upon you? Feel the intensity of the blow. Feel the pain of the strike cutting into your flesh. Feel the intimidation, the foreboding presence of all the power that you have given this creature that has been taken form. And take your weapon and feel the feeling of what it's like to strike back, striking as fast and as hard as your tired arms can, blocking, striking, moving, stepping, back and forth. Feel the motion of your body as you move, the sand beneath your feet. Feel your body bobble as if you dodge, if you step to the side. And face this opponent. Visualize with all the intensity that you have. Every step, every swing, every injury, every successful strike you make, every failed strike you make. If you overswing, if you underswing, if you leave yourself open. Imagine yourself fighting the way you would fight. Not no one else. Fight how you fight. And fight until you win, or until you lose. You must endure every injury you suffer from, regardless of where you're hit, regardless of how severe the injuries are. I'm going to leave you to your devices. Your end goal is to fight until you are victorious or until you are dead. You can fight as many times as you want. If you lose, you can fight again. If you win, you can fight someone new, fight a new problem with a new weapon. But one thing you can't do is you cannot, if you are victorious in your first fight, every injury, every wound, all the pain you feel you endured from the first fight, you must feel that same pain and agony and injuries into this new fight. And it must keep going and going. And you must keep enduring and keep moving forward. Every new problem, bring it into the arena and fight it. Give it form. Let all the pain, all the feeling that is associated with all the power you've given it soak out of your body and give it form. And then face it in the arena. I will leave you to this meditation. Please post your results. Let me know how effective this was for you, how you feel afterwards. And until next time, take care of yourself.